Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it? He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome to round 10, the final round of the JPB GT4 Championship, live from Jerez. I am James Parfitt, going to be here guiding you through all the action tonight. Jamie Dengle, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming along, and Phil across the pond as well. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us for what plans to be an epic end to an absolutely epic season. And this is the championship standings at this moment in time. Mark Fletcher is out in front on 560 points with Arthur Ferdle on 532. Alan McCain on 419 with Adam Hedgecock on 418. Ryan Burgess on 373. Then you've got Chris Needham on 370 and Torno Orametz on 366 and Adam Watson on 334. With Tom Weston, Cabernet Launay, Mirko Vicanto, Dan Babbage, Tim Perry, Arnold Chonier, Jordan Malcolm, Marnik Heister, Gavin Petty, and at the bottom there is John Higgins Jr. In the AMS, it is Jack Werrell out in front with Derek Crowther on second, 28 points back with Ryan Dudley, Chris Barnes, Jason Haddington, Stuart Gibbons, Chris Evans, Rob Williams, Stephen Mellis, Kevin Randall, Mark Werrell, Jamie Dengle, Damien Hurst, Roger Morton, Fausto Pinto, Danny Weston and Martin Sampson. And in the pro team standings, Altitude Esports are out in front by 939 on Team SRL on 921, with Renegade Racing on 545. Then Project 88, Air Smart, Sim Racing Community, Mag Performance, and Platinum Racing Team. In the AMS, currently at the moment, it is Blade Designs with Squadra de Corse Veloce, not very far behind on 533, with Triple P on 460, Triple P Vantage on 441, No Pace on 405 with Air Smart Racing, DSS, DSC Racing, Optical, and Team Zilla Racing behind that one as well. Thank you again for joining me, and once more it's going to be absolutely incredible here as well. Thank you to everybody that's basically joined us for the whole entire season. It's been an absolutely epic season. Now, what can we tell you coming up now here as well? Well, we can tell you now for Season 2, here is the tracks for Season 2 for the JPB GT4 Series. Alton Park will be the first one on the 30th of August, Nürburgring on the 6th of September. Then you've got Phillip Island on the 13th of September, Road Atlanta on the 20th, Zandvoort on the 27th, and then Brands Hatch on the 4th with Magny-Cours on the 11th of October. Suzuka on the 18th of October, then we've got Road America on the 25th, and Sebring on the 1st of November. So if you do want to sign up, the sign-ups open up tomorrow, ready to go. So if you do want to sign up, the cost of the season will be £16 once more, and you can sign up at jpbroadcasting.com/league racing/GT4s as well, so you can get yourselves involved in that one and come along and have some fun with us here this evening on a Wednesday night for the GT4s. So that is Season 2 schedule. If you want to get yourselves involved, you can come along. Sign-ups will be open tomorrow for 2 weeks, and you can get yourselves back in some great GT4 action here and join this, what has been an absolute epic season of racing. It's going to be very, very exciting once more, and it's going to be absolutely incredible here tonight as well. It's all about Arthur Ferdle, Mark Fletcher, Jack Werrell and Derek Crowther. Who will take it in the AM Pro Championship? Who's going to take it in the teams? We've had 3 different winners this season. Mark Fletcher, Arthur Ferdle and Adam Watson are the ones that have taken the wins here as well. And in the pros, it's an interesting thing currently as well, because it's been tough for Jack Werrell and also Derek Crowther. Now, realistically, Crowther is outside the ability to be able to basically take the win, but it does mean that he's got to have a good old go and basically see if Jack Werrell does have an absolute nightmare. If Jack Werrell has a nightmare, it's going to be for Derek Crowther to basically take the win, but we've got a funny feeling he might just be a little bit too far back. The teams are a lot more interesting with the drop weeks added here as well, and it's Blade Designs and Squadra de Corse Veloce in the AMS fighting it out here as well, with Altitude and Team SRL in the pros. So Arthur McCain, Arthur Ferdle, Alan McCain, Adam Hedgecock and Mark Fletcher will be the ones battling it out. But thank you again for joining us there as well. What do you mean there's only 3 tracks you like? There's loads on there that everybody enjoys as well. Phillip Island, an absolute epic circuit once more as well, and I can't wait for that one because that's going to be absolutely incredible from everyone. I do like Phillip Island, and I can't wait for that and to see how that one turns out. But guys, it's all about yourselves, getting yourselves involved, getting yourselves signed up, ready to go. Brands Hatch, Magny-Cours, Suzuka, Road America and Sebring. What more could you ask for here as well? So £16 entry fee. Get yourselves involved if you want to, and it's going to be epic. week. Let's see, head over to jpbbroadcasting.com and then of course go on to League Racing, and then you can go to GT4s, which will be live, ready for you to be able to sign up tomorrow. So get yourselves involved in that one. All right, thank you so much for joining us here tonight though, but let's get tonight over and done with. Let's see who's going to come out on top as we battle it out here once more for this GT4 Championship before we just about to go into quality. And at the moment, Arthur Ferdle on a 147.806 here, Mark Fletcher 148.209 with Adam Watson 148.422. So literally a second between first and eighth here, and Ryan Dudley putting in an absolutely stellar time. Just as I say that, he goes round and does donuts in the middle of the track. So, you know, I can't have it always, but Ryan Dudley was doing a great job sitting in fourth place. But we do have Quali coming up very, very shortly. So let's see how Quali turns out once more here this evening. And yeah, Season 2 on the horizons already. Phil earlier on put in chat, cannot believe we are already at round 10. I know, it has absolutely flown by this season with 10 rounds of action here. It's been absolutely incredible. Okay, Quali is up and running. 10 minutes of qualifying these guys will have to try and compete and get as far up as they possibly can. Mark Fletcher will be the first one out on track with Arthur Ferdle and Adam Watson. Don't forget you can hit us up over on Instagram as well, and don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bells and give the video a big old thumbs up because that would be amazing. The interesting thing with the AMs is Stuart Rice and Rob Williams are close together as well within that AM fight. Let's hope for a good clean race, Mark Chappell. I'm sure it will be a nice comfort battle. Now I do have to give a shout out to one Mr. Callum Mileham. Okay, Callum, as you know, there was an issue with Callum Mileham earlier on, and he is in the lower AMs. So there was basically he's gone out and made up his own championship. Okay, so he's made up his own championship, he's made up his own class of racing and has literally declared himself the lower AM winner. Now this was basically because of the fact that when his name was put into iRacing, everybody else had a capital A, he had the lower A. There was an error when it was input and he had a lower A on his name. Now he has made up his own lower AM champion. He has got his own livery, mind you, as well. So he's gone about it, everything in the right way. Now this is what Callum has currently got on his car. I don't normally look at this camera view. And he's now the lower AM champ awarded by James Parfitt. Now I never awarded Callum Mileham with any lower AM championship ever. Now, this is clearly him just having a little bit of fun on track. He's only joined for a couple of rounds, so, you know, we've let him get away with it for this time. I can guarantee there will not be a lower AM championship next season as well, all right? It will just be pro and AMs. And as you can see, he is the lower AM champ awarded by James Parfitt. No, he awarded it himself. So there we go. So for Callum Mileham, he is currently the lower AM champion, all right? Got to give him something. He tried his best, and you know, that's what he's done. So there we go. For him and for himself, you know, we'll as I say, we'll let him get away with it for this season, as he only joined for the last few rounds here as well. So, you know, Callum Mileham, lower AM champion. All right. Ewan Bramer, good evening to you as well. Craig Jones, evening all as well. Looks like he is watching. It does, yeah, he does. He definitely knows he was on camera at that point. But it's gonna be, what can Arthur Ferdle do here this evening? It's whether or not Ferdle's going to be able to go and do something amazing. So let's see what happens here with Arthur Ferdle. It's yeah. It's going to be very tight, I think, for Ferdle. I think lowercase 1 next season, well, maybe. I don't know. He's had fun with it. I think that's the main thing. He's had fun with it. He's embraced the fact that he had a lower A on his name, and that's the only reason he's ended up with the Lower Am Championship. All right, so you know, look, going forward, we'll let him get away with it, and we'll let him have some fun with it, and see how he gets on. All right, that's basically all we could do here. He's enjoyed himself. He's had a little bit of a crack at it. He's made it a laugh, and you know, look, that's basically it. So you know, let him carry on, I guess, here tonight as well. So yeah, as we're going into qualifying now, Mark Fletcher is out in front at the moment. It should be the first name across the board. We got Arthur Fertile leading the way on a 148.208 with Adam Watson 148.748 and Fletcher in third on a 148.772. Ryan Dudley and Chris Barnes are mixing it up in the Pro and Ams here. We've got 20 cars on track for this evening, so it should be interesting. He'll best get a trophy or I'll be posting a protest. Now, I'd like to point out, Mr. Dangle, he's already made his own trophy. He's already sent it to himself, and he's already got it on his desk. So technically, he has won his own trophy. All right, he's gone out and got one made. He's gone out and made him. He's made himself one. All right, so there you go for him as well. Welcome in, VJ. Thank you so much for joining us as well. This is going to be an interesting one. Gets to run car number 1 next season, says PSC. Well, I can't have two, can we? Let's be honest. We can't have two number 1s, and I can't let Callum run number 1, and the winner of the Pro Ams run number 1, and the winner of the Pros win number 1. So you know, maybe we'll do a 1, 2, 3 for the Pros, or a 1 for the Pro, 2 for the Ams, and 3 for Callum if he decides to enter next season. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. Fletcher's on a bit of a flyer at the moment. He's got some greens across the board here at her ref. So let's see how this goes on here once more. 13 cars on track. It's going to be a tough one. So, you know, let's see here as well. Let's see how it turns out. Right. Now, qualifying is going to be interesting. 001, 01 and 1. Well, we could do it that way, but I don't know, really, to be honest. We might just do 1, 2, 3, might make it a little bit easier. Right. Qualifying, Bertel, Fletcher, then you've got Dudley in the Ams with Barnes, Crowther, Jack Werrell's down in 5th at the moment here. Jason Haddington, Gavin Petty, Christopher Evans are all fighting out. There's Jack's livery for this evening as well. He's vying for that championship, of course. I've got a funny feeling I don't think he's going to be able to lose the championship, but we'll just have to see how he gets on, I think, here as well, because I can't see him. I think he's, to be honest, I think the way the points are worked out, I think Jack has probably already wrapped up the Ams. I think the Crowther's just that little bit too far back for his score to be counted. So we'll see how that one works out. Fertile himself, though, is in a different situation compared to Crowther and Werrell. He's basically, at this moment in time, when we add the drop weeks into it and give the overall, he is 28 points back. Now, for these guys as well, it's going to be a tough one for Arthur to try and overturn that gap with the fact on how Mark has scored points. He's obviously been consistent. He's obviously been doing a stellar job as well. So it's going to be very difficult for Mark to lose it as well. And then, of course, we've got 75 points up for grabs. Mark has to have a big old moment here to basically completely lose this championship. So we will try and keep track of what's happening with the scores all the way through here. But obviously it does mean that I'll be doing maths and at the same time. So yeah, we'll see how qualifying gets on. 1 minute 41 on the clock here as well. Is it top one like Cleo's getting promoted? It is. We're going to be looking at it as well on that one, Jamie. But I think partly because Jack Werrell and Derek Crowther can basically still fight with the pros. So I think from that perspective, I think we may look at the top two this time around to go up into the pro situation. So we'll probably look at the top two to go into the pros. All right. So I think that's what we're going to be looking at here overall within this season, because we are looking at the Clios as well, and whether or not we're going to be looking at the top two for that one also as well, because Crowther and Danny Kazar again are two people that can mix it up with the pros. So I think necessarily we may be looking at a top two of each of the AMs going up. So that's probably going to be the plan, Jamie, on that one, I think, with that situation. Right, 20 seconds remaining of Quali. We've got Ryan Dudley and Adam Hedgecott both parked up. Chris Needham is still running from Air Smart Racing, with Jack Werrell from Squadra de Corse Veloce sitting in 5th at the moment on this qualifying session. So let's see what goes on, coming just to the end here once more. Yeah, I heard you say you wasn't too sure, but yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I think that's the thing as well. We've got to be a little bit sensible with it. I think the problem is obviously we're aware that some people are quicker. So let's see what happens. Arthur Ferdle is up in 1st place, with Tim Perry in 2nd, Mark Fletcher 3rd, Adam Watson 4th. Then you've got Ryan Dudley in 5th, the leader of the AMs, Adam Hedgecott, Chris Needham, Gavin Petty, Derek Crowther, Chris Barnes, Stuart Rice, and then Jack Werrell there. Below that, we have got Torno Oromets, Alan McCain, Stuart Gibbons, Rob Williams, Stefan Mellis, Jason Haddington, Callum Mileham, and then Chris Evans. So let's see. Here we go, 15 minutes for the first race, don't forget. Then we go into that 45-minute feature with the pit stop. So there we go. I know you're doing Arthur's picked boxes this week, young sir, Dan Mould. So I am aware of that as well. And just in time, here I've been drafted in Mr. Zach Sweeney, who has joined me in the booth at very late notice. Zach, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I've just walked in and I'm ready to go for some GT4s. Let's do it.
Awesome stuff. Well, we are at Jerez here, and the championship has come down to the final round between Arthur Ferdle, Mark Fletcher, and in the AMs it's Jack Werrell and Derek Crowther. So let's see what happens and see how these guys get on once more here as well, because it is going to be absolutely amazing. 15-minute sprint, 45-minute feature with a pit stop. So they will have to pit here as well. And obviously the score system that we've got currently at the moment is it's an AM and Pro score system. So the AMs will score the same as the pros. So it's 25 for a win for the sprint and 50 for the feature, 22 for second, 44 for second in the feature, 40 for third in the feature, and 19 in the sprint. Pace lap up and running. So let's see what goes on, what happens, and let's see how these guys get on once more, because it is going to be a very, very interesting evening of racing here as well. So we'll give Zach a minute to settle down into the booth as well, as he's just come in and drafted in at the last moment here. So we'll give him a little bit of a minute. I'm not that much of a cruel.
Cheers. I really appreciate it. I'm rushing around, clicking links, getting tabs open. Evening, Phil, by the way. Yeah, I was meant to have a day off from you, but fortunately I've been drafted in. Yeah, I was just chilling and then got the call in, and I was like, fantastic, get to come and do some GT4s, because this is my first time doing the JPB GT4s, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's also my first time doing a sole GT4 exclusive race, which again I'm also very much looking forward to, because I love GT4s, because they're just such raceable cars. And I'm sure this entire season has been full of fantastic racing.
Yeah, it definitely has here. Arthur Ferdle, Mark Fletcher and Adam Watson have been the three main winners here as well. And in the AMs, it's been a little bit more spread between Ryan Dudley, Derek Qualver, Jack Werrell and Chris Barnes. So they've all been going backwards and forwards. So it's going to be, if nothing else, really exciting for the last one. We're wondering whether or not Mark's going to pull off a pit stop strategy, as he has done all season. Of course, he's got Brian Loynes working with him in the pit crew. I think also Arthur Ferdle has got Dan Mould working with him this evening. So this could be an interesting one to see how Arthur gets, whether or not he's going to get this right. Arthur's Achilles heel all season, Zach, has been his pit stops. So hopefully, you know, if he hadn't got some of them wrong, he would be in a different position within that championship.
Yeah, well, you can't be looking too bad on yourself in terms of hindsight. Like, absolutely, when the season's over, but look back at the season as a whole and think, okay, X, Y, Z, what can I improve on? Come back for next season and do better at them. You know, completely. You know, on that side of things, completely, yeah, absolutely, go for it. Find a way to improve yourself. But at this very moment, right now, don't care. No matter what's happened this season, whether you've had internet issues, whether your nan tripped over the Wi-Fi cable, I don't care, right? It's happened, it's done, it's in the history books. What can you do about it right now? That's all you should care about. How can you enter today as strong as you possibly can? How can you leave it in the strong position you possibly can? So sure, if Arthur Ferdle's had a rocky season, albeit, you know, he's still doing not too bad up there in the championship fight, but, you know, he can't be feeling too sorry for himself, because all he's going to do is let himself down. He just needs to get his head into the game and try and deliver some good results. Yeah,
that's the plan for Arthur. He's got to try and do that as well. He's got to deliver. He's got to have 2 wins out of 2 here to even stand a remote chance of trying to catch up with Mark Fletcher. So here we go. It's going to be up and running. We're going to be underway. Arthur Ferdle has set off already. He's made a jump for it right at the beginning, and it is Ferdle out in front as they go up into turn 1. Fletcher's almost jumped Tim Perry. He's got that inside line down for turn 1 now. Fletcher is going through. So he's also looking like Adam Watson is having a go in the inside of Tim Perry once more. That's the pros. What's happening in the AMs? Dudley sitting there in 5th overall at this moment in time, with Jack Werrell in 2nd. He's already jumped Derek Crowther unfortunately down 2 at the start there, Zach, but generally everybody through cleanly apart from Chris Barnes, who's had this little bit of a moment. Oh, there was contact with Crowther, and unfortunately for Chris Barnes, he has gone round there, and Arthur Ferdle leading by 7/10 at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic start. Exactly what he needed to do, especially at a circuit like Jerez. You can overtake, but it's better to have the track position and better to lead. Of course, that goes without saying. But just getting yourself underway well, giving yourself that breathing room, that time to settle in, get it done at your own pace. The fact he's not really under a lot of pressure right now is going to put him in a fantastic position going forward. And yes, it's only a 15-minute race, but you've still got to be thinking long game, and it does take a little bit of time to wire yourself in. So Arthur Ferdle doing himself a ton of favours, and it seems that himself and that Aston Martin is looking very, very strong in terms of some pace. Yeah, he has come out of certain races of this season and basically said that last week was probably the best he has driven. He also drove the socks off the TCRs on Friday as well. So he's definitely on a bit of a mission this season, is Arthur. Ryan Dudley's just got up the inside of Adam Watson there. I've got a funny feeling Watson might have had a slowdown. He's lost positions to Needham, he's lost the positions to Hedgecock, and at the moment he's got Gavin Petty behind him in the Mercedes with Jack Werrell tucked up right behind that as well. If Jack takes this win, the AM Championship is already going to be wrapped up now, and Needham goes past Dudley as Dudley caught himself a little bit of a slowdown there as well. As Adam Hedgecock's pressurising Dudley, I think Dudley's just trying to play the game where he's going to get points on the board here, I think, to try and cement his place in the championship. Yeah, that's all you've really got to do. I mean, for obviously his position, he's not fighting overall for championships or things like that. But if you can consolidate a place that you're in and you don't really see much chance of yourself going upwards, stop yourself from going downwards. And Ryan Dudley has been a fantastic driver in whatever series you put him in. He's always one to go for that. So as the leading AM as it stands in the race, he's now looking to try and consolidate his position. However, he's a racing driver, and as soon as he sees an opportunity to go forward, you can bet your bottom dollar he's going to go for it. Inside line, late on the brake goes the Mercedes. He sent the move. He's up into 4th place. So Ryan Dudley, yes, he wants to consolidate his place in the championship, but he also wants to have as much fun as he can for a season finale.
Yeah, definitely as well. It looks like Rob Williams has got himself caught out here with Jason Hannington and Stefan Mellis all having their own little bits of a moment here. Rob's very early on the brakes there. He turns in. Hannington turns him round, and here comes Mellis there with his bonsai liveried car, and he unfortunately has also just managed to avoid the main incident there. But for Rob Williams and Jason Hannington, not so much. They put himself into a position now. Adam Hedgecock once more fighting out in that middle pack with Adam Watson, Gavin Petty, Jack Werrell, Derek Crowther, Alan McCain for Team SRL. This is not good in their team standards. He's all the way down in 13th there as he Tokyo drifts that Mercedes round to Ferrari there as well. And unfortunately for him, Arthur Ferdel out in front, and Alan McCain really needs to kind of be a little bit further up than that to basically challenge and help Ferdel as much as he can.
Yeah, as a teammate, you always want to be as much of a rear gunner as you possibly can. That team dynamic, it is massive, particularly when a championship is at stake. And unfortunately for Alan McCain, he just needs to pick up the pieces a little bit more, move himself forward one by one. Just pick them as they come. You know, get rid of whatever problems you've got going on in your mind. Just try and close the gap. If you physically can't and they're a little bit quicker than you, that's fine. Just do your best. Get within a second, get within the slipstream range, and see it as they come. Capitalise on any mistakes you possibly can. A little bit wide there from the Porsche, I think, of Chris Needham. That could invite Adam Hedgecock to potentially go for a bit of a move. Of course, the McLaren is going to be trying to make amends for a slightly slower start, down a place. In the form of Adam Hedgecock. So if he can sniff an opportunity to move his way back into the top 6, he definitely will try to. But in the opening stages, definitely seems to be a nice midfield train that we've got going on.
Yeah, definitely. Gavin Petty and Jack Werrell at the back of that plane. Werrell now has got Derek Crowther coming at him here. Crowther needs to take both wins in the AMS this evening to stand a chance of getting near Jack, and that's going to be the thing. If Jack finishes ahead of Derek in race 1, I've got a feeling race 2 isn't going to matter whatsoever with drop weeks and everything else here. Chris Evans for having a battle out with Stefan Mellis. Callum Mileham, the lower AM champion. Sometimes Zach is best not asked, but that's the situation with Callum. According to Callum, I gave him the award for the lower AM championship. Don't remember it. Think he made it up on his own, but there we go. Arthur Ferdel, yeah, he did fully now. Ferdel's gaps come down from a second to 2 tenths here. I'm wondering if Ferdel made a mistake earlier on and it's allowed Fletcher to move right up behind him. This, in a way, is not going to benefit Ferdel, because even if he takes the win at the moment, he's going to be on 5.57, while Fletch, if he takes the 22, will be on 5.82. So yeah, I don't really know if this is going to benefit Ferdel with Fletch being tucked up in second place. He kind of needs Fletch a little bit further back in the field than that one.
Yeah, but at the moment we're spoiled in terms of a lead fight, which is always what we love to see. But yeah, from a points perspective, if your rival is further down, you score more points relative to them, which is always great when it comes to a championship standings, funnily enough. And, well, just under 0.3 of a second separate the two leaders. Only a couple seconds back is Tim Perry, so by no means don't count him out of this race at all. We are approaching halfway through the 15-minute race here for race number 1. Arthur Ferdel commanding lead. However, on that last lap, Mark Fletcher 0.7 of a second quicker than him, which shows some incredible pace. Whether it be a mistake from Arthur Ferdel, the important thing, I suppose, is that Arthur Ferdel still has that track position. Whatever mistake he had made hasn't lost him track position. He's still in control. He just has to shake it and hope that his defence is good enough to keep Mark Fletcher at bay. Yeah,
definitely there as well. Smoggy in YouTube chat, just checked the website, but unable to see any LMP3 stuff, so I probably already know the answer. However, is there any LMP3 stuff in the future? We are looking at multiple different leagues at the moment on multiple different nights. We've got people crying out for a GT3, we've got people crying out for multi-class, we've got people crying out for a JPB endurance series of 6 races and 12, 8 and 10 hours. There's a lot of suggestions that have been put forward to us. We are working to try and see where we can get them in and seeing what we can do with the series that have been suggested, because there has been a lot, I'm not going to lie. Arthur Fertile Fletch still battling out there as well. Dudley's now got Jack Werrell 2.26 seconds back, with Derek Crowther 2.3 back from that. Hedgecock has lost a bunch of positions at the moment here as well, and I've got a funny feeling Adam Hedgecock may have made a mistake. He went off track, and this did involve Chris Needham. Oh, Gavin Petty. Gavin Petty and Hedgecock there, unfortunately having a coming together. And I'm wondering whether or not that kind of was the same scenario that we saw from Rob Williams. Petty's just got in. Petty's just missed his braking point.
Yeah, just way too late. And you can almost empathise with that. Yeah, he's gone in, he's pressed the brake pedal, and he's thought, nah, not making this. Absolutely. We've all been there. We've all gone for that move. We've all regretted it 5 seconds afterwards when we've driven into the other car and seen the 4X come up at the top of our screen. We just sit there in shame, because as sim racers, we always give the fault to someone else, and in that situation you can't. He's going to say it was a fly going across his face, his brake pedal didn't work, his leg was shaking, his Red Bull spilt, I don't know, whatever it was, right? As sim racers, you always want to admit the fault to someone else, but yeah, you just have to hold your head in shame with that one. Unfortunately, there was no malice in that, it was just an honest mistake, but it has meant Adam Hedgecock has fallen outside the top 10. What it has meant is Alan McCain has moved himself inside the top 10, and, well, Adam Hedgecock now has an opportunity to potentially spark a fantastic recovery drive, I suppose, is the only silver lining for him here. Yeah,
knowing Gavin Petty, he will just basically put his hand up and go, I chuffed up there. I do apologise, it was all on me. The lead battle, though, with 5:48 on the clock with Fertile and Fletcher, is closer than ever. Fletcher's 2 tenths back away from Fertile. That's all he's staring at the moment, is that number 74 of the Aston Martin of Arthur Fertile from Team SRL, and he has been staring at that car from lap 1. Is he going to be able to make the move, though, here? I think this is the question, Zach, whether or not he's going to be able to make the move, where, if he can make the move, surely he's got to be out that run down from 5 down into 6, which is this straight they're on now.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest overtaking opportunities if you're able to go for it. Quite a late braking zone, of course, which definitely really does help. Of course, you just have to send the car in, hope it sticks, try and take a nice apex, avoid the anti-cut curb on the inside, and then just keep the minimum speed up as best as you possibly can. But as it stands, Mark Fletcher has found no way through relative to Arthur Fertile, whose Aston Martin does look very good, very well poised. But it must be said that we've got a nice range of manufacturers here on the GT4 grid. So if I was Mark Fletcher, I'd be looking, where's my McLaren quicker? How can I utilise the machine I've got underneath me?
Yeah, I think that's the thing here as well. We've only got 5 GT4s in iRacing, and we've got 5 on the grid. Aston Martin, McLaren, Mercedes, BMW and Porsche. So we're repping all manufacturers within the GT4s that are available. And I think that's the great thing, is it's not just a very, Mercedes or Aston Martin or McLaren-led series. I think we've got a full spread here, and the likes of Chris Barnes and Chris Needham have been quick in the Porsches, along with the obviously the McLaren of Mark Fletcher and Adam Hedgecock. So I think overall everybody's been roughly on the pace with the car that they've chosen, but I think that's where the consistency comes in. Pick one car, go for it, run it for a season and see how you get on. Fletcher's looking up the...
He thought about that. He really gave it a good thought, and he almost committed to it. And fair play to him for backing out. But again, those are the moves you sort of have to go for, where you just say sod it and send it to the inside. Because when you've got a driver like Arthur Fertile, who is so undeniably stubborn to get past, Mark Fletcher has to go for those 50-50 moves, and he has to trust himself and trust the car that it's going to stick. Of course, these GT4 machines are a little bit nicer. I believe they have got ABS, similar to their GT3 counterparts, so you can be a little bit braver on the brakes without fear of locking up and losing control. So if I was Mark Fletcher, I'd be springing more of those moves and make Arthur Fertile uneasy, because as soon as he feels secure, he feels safe, and he feels comfortable in the car, if I was Mark Fletcher, I'd be wanting Fertile to be on edge through every corner on this racetrack.
I think that the problem is with that, and I do understand what you're saying, and I'm sure Fletcher will take it on board. He isn't a slouch, mind you, both of these together, you know, the combined I rating of about nearly 11,900. So, you know, there are definitely no slouches in the cars that they're in. But I think from Fletcher's point of view, is it a sit back and wait and think, okay, I've made that first move. It didn't unsettle him as much as I thought. Am I going to be crazy enough to make it again? And that's the problem he's got to be looking out for. He doesn't want to punt each other off. You know, they been in that situation, and at the end of the day, you know, they've got to realize that that isn't going to win them the championship. You know, we've got this one and one more here. I'd like to point out that the Lower Am, self-proclaimed Lower Am champion, has gone off the side of the circuit. He's looks like he's caught the grass there, and then what did he get up to? He hit the grass again, and around he has gone. So the self-proclaimed Lower Am champion not doing well in his class currently either. So, from his point of view, oh well, never mind, move on. Now, Dudley's trying to challenge Watson, and we got Gibbons and Orametz close together. Crowber, Werrell and Dudley are the 1, 2, 3 in the pros. They are basically just about into the same shot. Dudley's on the grass. Oh, Ryan Dudley, hold it, because Werrell's on his way. There's Jack Werrell now, so this is going to be the Am fight it out here as well, Zach. And one mistake put Dudley in that position.
Yeah, that's all it takes is one small twitch, one overcorrection, one run over the grass in the form of Ryan Dudley, and it can really change the pace of your race. Of course, there's not long left to go at all, only a minute and a half, so we are on to the penultimate lap of racing action. But yeah, especially at this stage of the race where the adrenaline has spiked and you're looking forward to the checkered flag and you may be getting a bit complacent, this is the time to be really careful of those mistakes that you start to make, especially at a circuit like Jerez, because it will chew you up and it will spit you out very, very, very quickly. So Ryan Dudley has to make sure that he's straight back onto the pace and try and consolidate 5th place, because I think Adam Watson is a little bit out of reach, 1.5 seconds clear. So if I was Ryan Dudley, I'd be trying to avoid becoming a lawnmower once again. Yeah,
definitely. Arthur Fertile now as they're coming over to the final lap of the race. Fertile will take the final lap. He's taken the white flag. Barney is a waving. This is it. This is his moment. If he's got a moment, will he capture it? Will he seize it? Well, we're going to find out. He needs to take a double win. He needs something to happen to Fletch in race 2. I'm not saying that we want it to happen to Fletch in race 2, because it will divert away from some great racing that we have got with these two guys up front. But this is the final lap. This could help Fertile, but he's also got a bit of a mission in that feature there, Zach, to try and basically take the win.
Yeah, it's of course 45 minutes in length, and while he will have the advantage of potentially starting on pole if he's able to hold the win, he has still got a long way to go, and he's been able to deal with 15 minutes of pressure from Mark Fletcher. He's now got to do that 3 times over. So yeah, Arthur Fertile hasn't got an easy job ahead of him whatsoever, but if anyone can do it, I'd say Arthur Fertile can. But in terms of the championship, I think it is too little too late unless Mark Fletcher has an absolute stinker. Yeah,
definitely on that one. Pete, give me 2 seconds. Let me get to the end of this race and I'll answer them questions here in the chat. Arthur it's an outside shot that he can catch Fletch. He does need Fletch not as close as what he's got him at the moment. So don't get me wrong, 25 points for a win in the sprint, 50 for the feature. But from Fletcher's point of view, he just needs to be in the top 3. Fertile needs to take both wins, and Fletch needs to be outside of the top 3. This is going to help Fertile going into race 2. He is looking like he's going to take this victory. I don't think Fletcher's going to dive him into that final corner. Okay, maybe I was wrong as well with Fletcher and Fertile. Fertile's going to come over the line. He's going to take that victory in race 1. What about Dudley, Werrell and Crowber? Dudley's going to take the AM win with Werrell, with Crowber there as well. And I've got a funny feeling that is just about going to wrap it up for Jack Werrell here as well. This is here. Crowber needs to finish basically in front of him, and he didn't manage it there either. So that is basically Crowber is going to be on 5-2-1. Werrell will be on 5-5-2. So I think that's going to be Jack Werrell's championship after this fight. Fertel's on 5.57, Fletcher on 5.82. So with 50 points for the feature, there's still an opportunity there, Zach, but it is almost like betting on the three-legged horse in the National at the moment.
Yeah. When we say it's possible, we don't mean it's going to happen. And we don't want to hype up this storyline that there could be a magical championship resurgence in the final race this season. There's probably not. We're just trying to deliver you the news and say this is what could, in theory, happen if everything goes to plan for one and everything does not go to plan for the other. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough ask in the championship fight. But, again, not entirely impossible. But here's how they racked up after Heat 1.
Yeah, so it is Arthur Fertel out in front with Mark Fletcher in second, Tim Perry third, Adam Watson in fourth. Ryan Dudley takes that AM win with Jack Werrell in sixth, Derek Craver there in third of the AM, so that wraps him up for the 1, 2, 3. Gibbons comes along the line in fourth. Toro Orametz in ninth with Alan McCain 10th, Stuart Rice 11th, Chris Barnes down in 12th with Chris Needham 13th, Gavin Petty 14th, Christopher Evans 15th, Adam Hedgecock 16th, and Jason Huntington down in 17th. Then on from that, you got Stefan Mellis, Rob Williams, and Callum Mileham. We are in a brief 5-minute warm-up. I only got a 1x and still won. That's worth 28 bonus points. You and I both know that that's unlikely to happen. As much as I would love to just award you random points, Mr. Thurtle, I seriously can't award you random 28
It's not Harry
points.
Potter, right?
No.
We can't.
No. It's definitely not. But I've got you on 5.57, while Fletcher's on 5.82. So a tall order.
What's that, 25 points difference?
Yeah, 25 now because he's just pulled out 3 on the sprint. So 20.
That's not a million miles away.
It's not, but
How does Arthur get a 25-point gap in this race?
so basically for this feature, Fertel needs to win. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fletch needs to be all the way down in 16th in the pros. Now, obviously, we don't have 16 pros for 6, 8, 11. So the minimum, if Fletch even finished in 11th for the pros, he would still score 30 points.
So he just needs to finish the race, essentially.
Basically, yeah, he needs to finish just to be able to take the victory. Same in the AMs with that point gap, with the 31-point gap here, because obviously Werrell just needs to finish to put points on the board. We've got 11 AMs, so from his point of view, he just needs to finish in 11th in the AMs, and Craver needs to go out and take the win, but it still won't be enough. So I've got a funny feeling we are looking at a Jack Werrell championship win with Mark Fletcher here as well, and unless Mark DNFs, cuts out, internet goes off, blue screens, computer breaks, steering wheel breaks. Something needs to happen to Mark, and I don't wish anything on Mark. I love Mark. He comes and commentates with the Clios for us. But something needs to happen, if you get what I mean, for Fertel to have a chance.
Yeah, it is a very, very tough ask. What's the cut-off for points? Is it half distance? Is it get to the checkered flag? It's
75% of the race, I believe.
Okay, so that is 35-ish minutes of the race. Yeah. Even if Mark Fletcher has a huge crash, he is going to rule around the circuit just to score points.
Oh yeah, he needs a DNF or something to basically give Fertel a chance. Fertel's got to go out and take the win like he has to. So there you go. Should be a bonus 5 for 0x to any driver, like the F1 fast lap. The problem is that just plays havoc with the scores, and you've got to be jiggling manually and stuff like that. So there's a lot that needs to be added if you did like a point for quali or a point for this or a point for that. There's a lot more involved in the score system than that one, and I think that's the problem with that system. As much as you could say you'd love to be able to chuck bonus points at people, it does cause a bit of a havoc. So we'll see how race 2 goes. And as I say, the season will start again in 2 weeks' time. Sign-ups will be open tomorrow. So you can get yourself involved in the GT4s from tomorrow there. And that is the schedule: Alton Park, Nürburgring, Phillip Island, Road Atlanta, Zandvoort, Brands Hatch, Magny-Cours, Suzuka, Road America, and Sebring. So if you want to work it out and come along and get yourselves involved in any of that, you can. The Clio schedule will also be announced later on as well. I've just been given that through. So I will basically come out and announce the Clio schedule after this race. Okay, so you will see the Clio schedule for next season if you want to come and race the Clios, because I will say be quick with the Clios though, because the 40 places generally fill up within the first few days, and then we are full, and then it's basically trying to get people in as subs. So yeah, if you want to get yourself involved with that one, please do so quite quickly. Here is the grid for race 2. Arthur Ferdal out in front with Mark Fletcher in second, Tim Perry third, Adam Watson fourth. Then you've got Ryan Dudley, Jack Werrell, Derek Craver, Stuart Gibbons, Torno Orametz, Alan McCain, Stuart Rice and Chris Barnes down in 12th. Needham, Gavin Petty, Christopher Evans, Adam Hedgecock, Jason Hannington, Stefan Mellis, Rob Williams, and of course the self-proclaimed AM champion at the back there as well. They used to have that in the old BSR leagues, and you ended up with people trotting around at the back, not racing, just getting 0x and then winning the championship. That's not racing. No, I agree with you, Pete. I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't want to be seeing people just potter around at the back, Zach. I don't think it makes very interesting racing just to try and get a 0x and some bonus points.
No, it's too gimmicky. I don't like it. You need to earn your points. I'm not saying you don't earn your points in that regard, but yeah, we want out-and-out racing, and hopefully that's what we're going to get for the next 45 minutes. Yeah,
we definitely will here. This pit stop palaver ain't racing either. Oh, that's because you're not doing it, and you've just got to try and help Arthur. Damn mould. Stop your whining here this evening. Just get on it, son, and make sure Arthur gets it in and out of the pits here to see what he's able to do and whether or not he can take it. I got a funny feeling it's a very, 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 very long shot, but let's see what happens here as well for the next 45 minutes with a pit stop. The format itself for next season's GT4, is not changing. We are keeping the same format with the 15 minutes. We're keeping the same format with the 45 and the pit stop as well. So there will be no changes on that. Clio format, I've just got to try and wrap up the final details of the Clio format, but I've got a funny feeling it will still be in the same free race format for the Clios, but there might be just some changes on the reverse grid, whether or not it'll be 15. I don't think it's going to be 20 again. I think we're going to be doing 10 and 15 this time as well to make the racing a little bit more, I don't know, equal, fair. I'm not sure what the word is, but, you know, don't get me wrong, the top 20 reverse grid has caused some great racing this season, Zach, but it's also caused a bit of a palaver at some points as well.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to sort of those formats and things, it's always a tightrope that you have to walk between sort of doing it for the show and doing it for the racing. Sprint races are fantastic, especially sort of reverse grid ones, because, you know, you get the drivers carving their way through the field. It proves that you can't just get pole and run away with things. But on the flip side of that, it's almost like drivers are being gifted pole position. And then you get those championships where the points for the sprint are the same as the points for the feature, which then adds more to that gimmick sort of thing, that you can get gifted pole position, run away with it at the front, and get the same amount of points than the driver who put it on pole and defended against people who were around his pace. So I can sort of see that side of things. But I prefer it so much more when it is just give him a lap, count, give him a time to go to, and then give him a point structure for that. Point for fastest lap, cool, I get that, but then don't be going for, you get points if you lead a lap, you get points if you keep it within the track, you get points if you get 0x's, you get points if you're the coolest livery, you get points if you've got the coolest helmet. All of that stuff, not only does it make my life difficult in the commentary booth, it's just they're not real points. You should earn points by getting positions and winning races. And yeah, that's just how I've always seen things. But
The only thing as well I do see with certain leagues is with their point systems, and I'm going to look at this, the JPB, the GT4s and the Clios, is this whole, like, I think sometimes 50 for a win is a little bit too much. You know, you want to see the old Formula 1 days where it was like 12, then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, you know, all them sort of scores. So you're not ending up with massive scores here, but the feature is up and running. Perry is tucked up behind Thurdle. When is Thurdle going to go? He's got them backed up here. He's got the he's got the big list. Oh, he's gone, and Fletch settles in right behind Arthur Thurdle straight away at the beginning here. He took that line away from Tim Perry. He's trying to stop the run from Watson around the outside. Watson has gone a little bit too wide there and lost that place to Perry. Is he going to lose the place to Dudley as they come down into turn 2? Round turn 2 they go, the right-hander now. Dudley is beside Watson. Watson got a bit of a slide on, sorry, and there was almost contact. There looks like there's been contact further back. Stefan Mellis, Stuart Rice and Adam Hedgecock look like they may have had a moment here with Chris Needham, and it looks like this has caused somewhat of a palaver. Hedgecock goes round the outside. Was there contact? Oh, Hedgecock slides. Hedgecock loses it, and that puts Rice and Needham in that situation as well. There's Zach, and unfortunately for Adam Hedgecock, once that car started flying, he just had nowhere to go.
He didn't look to the outside from Mark Fletcher. Tim Perry says thank you very much and picks his way past up now into second place. Beautiful move, it must be said, from the Mercedes. Great defensive drive from Arthur Thurtle, and he knows that Mark Fletcher is his biggest threat. He knows that if he can sort of get Tim Perry to separate the two, he's got a bit of a buffer here. And the more that Tim Perry and Mark Fletcher begin to battle, the more that Arthur Thurtle can maybe run away with things at the front of the field. So a fantastic move from Tim Perry, but now Arthur Thurtle, I think, is doing himself all of the favours, keeping Mark Fletcher as far back as possible while he tries to command the lead. Arthur Thurtle really good in the first 5-10 minutes of a race, and then obviously we'll see what he's like beyond that, but at least for now he's building himself a good margin, and most importantly has kept that track position.
Yeah, and he's got a car in the middle as well. Now in the AMS, Dudley's cleared Watson, Werrell's got Crowther behind him here. So from Werrell's point of view and Crowther's point of view, it's just such a tall order for Crowther. He needs Werrell, same situation as Thurtle and Fletcher. He needs obviously Werrell to have a complete and utter disaster. But I just can't see that happening with the consistency that Jack Werrell's had this season. That's the problem of it, and I just can't see that taking place for Jack Werrell. You know, he's had 9 top 10s, 8 top 5s, and one win. Average start is 4th. His average start is 3rd in the AMS, of course. So he's done a great job here, and I can't see, unless there's barring an earthquake, how Jack Werrell is ever going to lose this AM Championship from where he is. Watson's just taken a trip across the kitty litter there, unfortunately. So Adam Watson has now basically dropped about 6 tenths back from Dudley. But if Dudley had this is the weird thing with Ryan Dudley, and I do love Dudley overall. You know, he's shown some great pace and is well up there to be promoted up to the AM Championship next season if he joins it, of course. You know, because he can wrap it up with the pros, and we're showing it, but there's just some inconsistencies, some driving under red mist, and that's probably what's cost Dudley this championship this season.
Yeah, you've got to be on it from round one, especially in sort of shorter championships like the 10-week championships that we've got here. I mean, they're not the shortest in the world, but they're definitely not the longest. And the winner of championships is not the one that's gone out there and won every race. Of course, that would probably win you a championship if you were able to do that, but it's not always the driver that's quickest on track. It's not always the one that sets the fastest lap. There's a bit of a send to the inside. Mark Fletcher goes for the move for second place into the final corner. Beautiful move. Tim Perry hangs it to the outside, and his Mercedes puts his foot down most effectively and has got the run. Look at Arthur Thurtle giving the slipstream to both of them to further entice this battle. He brings it back to the racing line, nearly in the background as well. You've got Ryan Dudley defending from Adam Watson, and once again, a very well defended move there from Perry.
Yeah, he's definitely now. Watson's taken a dive up the inside of Dudley. I've got a funny feeling there was almost a little bit of a paint swap with Watson and Dudley. Dudley comes across and takes his nose off once more. Dudley's putting up a fight with these pros. It doesn't matter if they've got that green decal on their screen. Dudley's got the orange. He can wrap it up with the pros, and he's trying to here as well. He's getting himself involved, which is great to see, and it's great from Dudley. He's obviously gone out and done some laps course of a ref, because you don't just get this pace by turning up and rocking for 15 minutes in practice here, Zach. You know, he's obviously put it in this week because of he's sitting basically 4th overall.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job. And going back to that point, obviously, it's a shame that he can't do this week in, week out. And I suppose that is a testament to what it takes to compete at the highest level in sim racing, is the amount of preparation that goes into it. Obviously, when I was doing the Formula E Accelerate Championship, and I was talking to the drivers on you know, that sort of stage, and they were saying, yeah, we did hundreds of hours, hundreds of laps. Unfortunately, Mark Fletcher's gone wide. He's lost a couple of places behind to Adam Watson and down to 5th place. And maybe needed a little bit more prep in terms of consistency in that one. But yeah, hundreds upon laps, hundreds upon hours, doing quali sims, race sims. Those are the practice hours that you have to put in, and that's on a weekly basis in order to be as consistent as you potentially need to be in order to win championships.
Yeah, but now what I'm wondering is the fact that Fletcher is just spun Adam Watson. From Fletcher's point of view, that was quite late. I'm not going to lie. Don't get me wrong. There was a gap. Whether or not at the moment of turn, no, he was not going to make that.
I mean,
he wasn't in general.
I know. But if you were Adam Watson and you've got two choices, right? Your choices are you are frustrated at Mark Fletcher for making a silly move, but you give him the space and you're still in the race, or you are the person that can go to the stewards and, you know, and say, I was in the right, Mark Fletcher took me out, but then hang on, your race is ruined. I know which choice I'd go for. I'd go for the choice that, granted, yes, I'd be frustrated, but you would still be in the race. Yeah. Unfortunately, if it had just given him a bit of space, absolutely, it wouldn't have necessarily been the thing he had to have done. He wasn't entitled to do that. He wasn't obligated to do that, but he'd still be in the race if he did.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying. We are looking at a stewarding system that we are trialling for TCRs, and if it is planned out, does become successful, we will be dropping it into GT4s and Clios next season. There isn't a stewarding system currently in place, but there will be next season. If the trial on the TCRs goes well over the next few weeks, we will drop it into the GT4s and the Clios, so there will be stewarding. From Fletcher's point of view, though, is he frustrated about the fact that he went off, so that's why he's ended up diving and trying to make a move there? And did he really need to make that move? McCain and Petty are scrapping it out here as well, behind Watson and also Gibbons, with Chris Evans just a little bit further back in that Triple P, with Stefan Mellis tucked up right behind him as well. Is Fletch driving under that mentality of, I've made a mistake, I've got to try and get it back?
It's easy to fall into that mentality, absolutely. But Mark Fletcher knows as long as he scores points, he's won the championship, right? He's not necessarily driving with the championship on his shoulders, which is what a lot of drivers in his maybe who would maybe fall into that mentality would be in their position of, you know, they're in the championship fight, they've lost a place. What do? I need to be aggressive and get it back. That's not the case for Mark Fletcher. He's got the time, and he's also in a position where he can just play it cool. I think it is just a sheer thinking too quick and getting too frustrated, letting his emotions take over rather than composing himself. Because that, again, that is an easy thing to fall victim to, is your raw emotions, getting into that irrational side of yourself. Or maybe we're reading too much into it and it was just a silly mistake that he broke too late and he wasn't necessarily trying to go for a move. So many different things that can go on in the head of Mark Fletcher, and only he will know. But yeah, no, there are, I would say maybe he's thinking a bit too quick, going for moves a bit too hastily, and rather than just waiting for an extra corner, getting in the slipstream and going for a move into a longer and heavier braking zone.
Yeah, they have got that pit stop as well. We have got Needham fighting out with Stefan Mellis here. He's going to Needham trying to get past that McLaren of Mellis and Am and a Pro. Once more scrapping it out. We've got Ams and Pros further down as well with Stuart Rice and Adam Hedgecock here as well. Rice nearly sent it up the inside of Hedgecock on his McLaren. And Hedgecock does able to come back across and take that line away from Rice. That's doing Rob Williams some favours, because Williams needs to finish ahead of Rice to be ahead of his teammate in the I should say his Triple P companion, not teammates, because we've got Triple P Porsche and Triple P Vantage, of course. Williams is not in the Porsche, he's in the BMW, but he is a part of the Triple P Porsche team with Chris Barnes, who unfortunately is... No, I know, trust me, I'm aware. On that one, so bear with me. They were allowed a driver swap, and Williams did take the driver swap, the car swap, sorry, and Williams did take that. So from his point of view, it's in the rules, and that's what he wants to do. They just didn't, unfortunately, change the team name to match up, so they couldn't really have Triple P Porsche BMW, could they?
No, that wouldn't really work, I'll be honest. Yeah, I suppose. Or just put him in a Porsche. I don't know.
He doesn't like that. I don't think he liked it. I don't think it was as quick as the BMW.
Well, join a different team then.
Oh, Zach Sweeney, back off.
Go join Triple P BMW.
Don't come in here late giving my drivers grief. I tell you what as well. I'm not responsible. All DMs to Zach Sweeney at this point. Callum Mileham, why are you not out in track here as well? The self-proclaimed lower arm champion is sat in YouTube chat as we watch Stuart Gibbons and... Ooh, a very close Alan McCain at one point, nearly coming into the back of Gibbons there. Williams and Rice are now having a battle. Hedgecock has cleared Williams, so this leaves the Triple P boys to have their own little battle. This is in the championship. They're not very far apart currently at the moment, are Williams and Rice. I think Rice is out in front, and he is out in front by about 18 points. So obviously with Williams having that moment in the feature there, in this sprint race, that could leave Rice just to try and finish the race. Now, from Rice's point of view, I know he's not going to want to do that, because that overall feeling of always beating your teammate is kind of a feeling that you want within a team, isn't it? You want to beat your team companion. So there we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always the first target, always the first benchmark is your teammate, even if they've chosen a completely different car to maybe what the team name suggests. But yeah, you always want to sort of get... you always want to...
JV Dengle there, is Zach PMSing tonight? I don't know, he could well be. He seems to be on a little bit of a rant here tonight, Mr. Zach Sweeney. As Stuart Rice has just dived the inside of Williams and has just gone through there. Needham just about staying in front of Chris Evans. Needham in the Porsche, Evans in the Triple P Racing Vantage, and he is in the Vantage Aston Martin there. Werrell still hanging on to this place in front of Crowther. He's still trying to keep Crowther at bay here as well. So, a great job from all of these guys once more. They're doing something truly amazing, something better than I could do. Let's just put it that way. Take the lower arm title back, says Phil over Callum Mileham, who tonight is about those that are having an amazing season, not me. They had a great drive all season, and I am seriously so I'm better out of the way to let them all battle it out. Well, that's fair enough, says the self-proclaimed lower arm champion.
I mean, just get out there. I mean, you're still in the pit lane. Go for it. Just go out there, finish the season, or go out for the final lap. Cross the checkered flag. I mean, even if you've not done the full season, you've done part of it, and it's always great to end the season by crossing the line. But I do understand that, obviously, not wanting to get in people's way. There's nothing worse than being that guy. Say if he, unfortunately, got into Mark Fletcher's way. Not saying that Callum Mileham would. But if he maybe made a mistake, rejoined the track and got into Fletcher's way, and Fletcher DNF'd and lost the championship. Imagine being that guy. So I can sort of understand the pressure that Callum Mileham would have as fear of being maybe the one to get in the way in that regard. But you got to have confidence in yourself. You got to be out there and still be able to enjoy yourself. But a very selfless thing to do nonetheless. You know what isn't a selfless thing to do is to take a different car to your team. And I'm checking. I'm just milking it at this point.
I tell you what, if Rob Williams, if you watch this back tomorrow, because I know you will, Zach Sweeney is giving you grief. So all DMs to Zach, all right? I'm not getting involved in that one. Zach can defend himself. He's a big enough boy to go and do that here as well. Watson is onto the back of Crowther and Werrell. Now, from Werrell's point of view, he really needs Watson to have a go at Crowther here to try and stick that car between the two battlers, of course, Derek Crowther and Jack Werrell. He needs Watson to have a go. Watson is showing pace here tonight, so this could be quite interesting how this battle resumes here and whether or not Watson's going to play a part. Now, I can guarantee from Watson's point of view, he ain't just going to sit and follow, but he he looks like he's got the pace, but just obviously the incident earlier on has probably cost him, to be fair. So, you know, it's a bit tough for Watson at the moment, whether or not he's going to sit behind the AM battle or get involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, as a driver, you always want to move yourself as far forward as possible. But if you know that you can't then, by extension, go and chase more people beyond that who you would maybe actually score points relative to, maybe it's not worth getting involved in, especially because you know how hard these two are going to fight for sort of the lead AM fight, or well, second place in the AMs, I suppose, Jack Brel versus Derek Grauver. You know how hard these guys are going to fight, and to be amongst that, you're probably putting yourself in the danger zone, which is, you know, as a driver, one of the last things you want to be doing. But there's still half an hour left to go, still plenty of opportunities. So maybe if I was Adam Watson, yeah, maybe I would get myself involved. But again, it's about taking those high percentile chance moves where you can go for a move and trust that you're going to pull it off. It's not one of those sort of the moves that we saw with Mark Fletcher a little bit earlier on, where he sort of went for it and it was maybe a 30% chance of coming off, given that the driver he was overtaking gave him the space. You want to go into it saying, right, yeah, I'm going to get given space, I'm going to make the move stick, because if not, you're just putting yourself under unnecessary risk. So Adam Watson, fortunately, has got the luxury of time on his side, that he can, you know, take plenty of time in order to decide what the best course of action is in order to find a way past the two AMs fighting for second.
They come down into that turn 6, that right-hander. I've never seen a corner name called that before, but turn 6 has got
the good old dry sack.
Yeah, the dry sack.
Yeah.
For turn 6, it's almost like the Twin Ring East turn 1, which was aptly named the female dog. You can put the letters on
that was Virginia, wasn't it?
Virginia, was it Virginia West? Virginia East?
Yeah.
Virginia, one of them, has got the female dog as a turn 1. Now, you can obviously put the initials and the letters to that one and come up with the name yourself. Crowther's trying to have a good old go over Werrell. I don't know what Crowther's kind of needs to do. He needs to obviously get past. But with this tricky circuit as a ref is, really, that rundown into turn 1, that rundown from 5 to 6 is probably the main two opportunities, isn't it? They're the heavier braking zones. So from that point of view, Crowther's got to try and get a run out of turn 13 down into 1, or he's got to get a run from 5 to 6, because there ain't many other places on this track where you can make a dive.
Nah, again, these GT4 cars are quite quick, and you know, they spend quite a bit of time on the brakes, but they've got a bit of downforce. They can take quite a bit of speed into corners, and Jerez is one of those tracks where you have got a lot of medium speed corners, nice and flowy ones as well. So yeah, it is hard to send a move to the inside, because the only long straight, as you say, maybe into turn 1, maybe into turn 6. But apart from that, yeah, you're not really on the brakes for too long, and the rest of it is just about staying as close as you possibly can to the driver in front. So for Derek Crowther, I think it's going to be a case of maybe putting a bit of pressure on, send some fake moves, stay in the rearview mirror of Jack Werrell as much as you can, and then hope that potentially a mistake starts to materialize. I suppose it depends how much quicker Derek Crowther could be in clear air, because if he can get in front of Jack Werrell and chip away at Ryan Dudley's lap times, maybe it would be worth getting a bit of a shifty on. But if he's not that confident in catching Ryan Dudley, then I'd say, yeah, sit back, wait, play the long game, because if he's fighting for first, he's got maybe 2 minutes to get the move done. If he's fighting for second, he's got 27. So I guess it just depends on what his goal is for this race.
I think the thing is as well, Dudley's pace up front is still in the 149.22s. These guys are settling in the 150s. 150.02 for Werrell, 150.17 for Crowther. So Dudley technically is nearly, you know, a good, what is he, about half, give or take a few tenths faster than these guys as well. So, you know, I don't know if Crowther's going to have that opportunity to catch Dudley here. I got a funny feeling Dudley has got this win wrapped up, as long as he keeps it on track and as long as he manages to stay, you know, on the circuit, on the black stuff. Gibbons is in the pits here. We've seen Watson go in, Barnes has gone in, Chris Evans has gone in as well. 26 minutes remaining for the final race of the JPB GT4 series, and then we will be going in 2 weeks time for the GT4s again as well for round 1. The sign-ups will open up tomorrow. So if you want to get yourselves involved, please do so there as well. Stefan Mellis, Torno Oromets and Jason Haddington battling it out further down. Williams is still trying to go at Stuart Rice. These guys swapping backwards and forwards. Haddington and Oromets are side by side as they're heading out of 2, round the left-hander of 3. Haddington looks like he's on the pace here this evening, battling away with the pros of Oromets in that BMW. Merck and the BMW scrapping it out with the McLaren coming up as well. Is Haddington going to be able to make this move down into turn 6 here? It looks like Oromets has carried a lot more speed round 6. Is that going to cost him though? It is. He's on that outside line, and here comes Jason Haddington on the left-hand side now. He's going to have the inside down for turn 6. He's going to be through before he even got there, and one mistake for Oromets. Haddington took the position away.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Haddington needs to do. As a racing driver, that's exactly what you want to do, is analyse the situation. As soon as a mistake in front happens, boom, straight back through as much as you, as easily as you possibly can. Because, again, a circuit like Jerez, where overtaking opportunities are few and far between, you need to capitalise on those moments because, as I say, you're not going to get many of them. So for Jason Haddington, just to find a way through as soon as he saw an opportunity, not only goes to show his confidence, but also his trust in both his own ability and the car's ability, and also Oromets' ability as well, as to not completely rejoin in a silly way and take him out. So Haddington showing his very wise head of experience and his very large plethora of talent as well at the wheel of that Mercedes GT4 machine. Works his way inside the top 10. But another battle that's continuing on. Arthur Thurtle, of course, running away 3.5 seconds clear of this fight for second. Tim Perry doing a brilliant job at keeping Mark Fletcher at bay.
Yeah, definitely. Perry is on the defensive from Fletch. The thing is for Perry now is Fletcher's probably going to be sat there fuel saving his head off, as he has done in many previous races when he has been sitting in this position here as well. Welcome in, Kieran. Thank you so much for joining us. My 1-year anniversary with TSRC and JPB coming up on the 18th, young Zachary. Has it really been a year already?
It has. Unfortunately, you've had to deal with me for the last year.
Oh, blimey.
I know, and it's been a long time. I feel very old. I honestly thought it was a lot later in the year than August. I thought it was sort of October, November time, but no, it was August. Maybe that's because I see August as a lot earlier in the year than it actually is. But yeah, no, it's been a year full of a lot of series and a lot of work with you. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Good job. I'm glad I'm filling up your calendar there, so not letting you take breaks and giving you 5 minutes notice to come and join me in the booth here as well. So,
not even. You'd already started the broadcast when you messaged me.
Well, I was hoping, but there was going to be somebody else. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they were able to make it. So, if you're not doing anything, the next season on the Wednesday, the GT4s are starting again. Crowther's just taken a diver into the pits there, where Mellis has got basically Adam Hedgecock, who's just swept round the outside. So Hedgecock has taken that position away from Mellis. Crowther's the first one to blink out of the arms. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out. Haddington and Oromets still battling it out further down. We've still got Perry ahead of Fletch here as well. So let's see what happens. Kieran's going to make sure Fish gets you a present.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say a present. He said something prepared. And when it comes to Fish, I'm scared, right? I don't see that as something special. I see that as something scary. So we'll see.
Do you reckon it will be something scary?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely 100%.
Yeah? Okay. Well, let's see. See what it comes up with here as well. I suppose I better send you a happy anniversary card or something. I don't know.
That's true. Or a raise, I don't know.
I don't know about that one. I've got to petition the boss for my own raise at the moment as well.
Hang on.
What?
Do you mean you or your missus?
Have you met my wife? No, my wife. I'm not the boss. I just run it and stick some commentary over the top. She tells me what I'm doing. So Adam Hedgecock now going to make that move on the inside of turn 6 over Oromets. Hedgecock trying to battle his way through the field, of course, after his race 1, putting down the order. He is now up 6 places, so he did finish down his 16th in the sprint, and he's now trying to get back up and running once more. Gavin Petty has just gone about his business here this evening. He's just gone around. He's kind of driving in that no man's land at the moment. He's got 3 seconds to the guys in front, 9 seconds to the guys behind. It's going to be a little bit further as he's just gone and dived into the pits. The pits window will be between 21 and probably 15 minutes to go. So we'll start seeing drivers dart in here, depending on how they're getting on with their 50% fuel, of course. And knowing Mark Fletcher, he's probably fuel saved probably about a lap and a half on everybody else already as well. So, you know, there we go. It's going to be interesting. Haddington goes in. That releases Mark Fletcher and Orametz and Mellis. So Fletcher, Hedgecock, sorry, is now up into 9th place with Gavin Petty still in the pits. Actually, Petty's on his way out here. This no, he has already been overtaken. So, yeah, for Gavin Petty, he will be losing a few positions down in the order. He does come out in 12th behind Crowther, who has also pitted. Crowther, of course, fighting out in the AM Championship. Williams and Rice still going at it as well. Further down this order, as Petty just comes out in front of Rice here. Both of these people have not pitted yet. Zach and Williams and Rice going at it as well.
Yeah, it's been a nice battle between the two of them. Of course, I love Robert Williams, and he's my most favourite person in the world. And I've never said anything bad about him at all, and he's got no reason to slander me in some DMs. That's exactly what I'd love to think. He goes to the inside. Stuart Rice, however, nice move, of course, utilising the BMW M4's very well-occupied brake system and sending one to the inside. Stuart Rice doesn't put up too much of a fight with it. I'll tell you something about that BMW, though. As nice as it looks, it is one of the most disappointing GT4 cars sound-wise. Stuart Rice looking to the inside, of course, of his teammate. A very hard-fought battle between the two teammates. But yeah, that's something I noticed when I went to watch the British GT. The BMW GT4 car is so underwhelmingly quiet.
Yeah, it does seem to be, doesn't it? Are you expecting a more gruffing machine?
Well, if you compare it to the GT3 and how good the GT3 sounds, yeah, BMW needs to do better, I think.
Okay. Is it BMW, though, or is it the fact that it's not been recorded as such?
Oh, no. In real life, when I went to watch it, the British GT at Snetterton, you had the naturally aspirated V10 of the Lamborghini coming out, screaming. You had the McLaren 720S screaming on the way out. You had the grunts of the Mercedes, and as into the pit lane comes one of the McLarens, Adam Hedgecock and Mellis. You had those cars coming out sounding beautiful, and then you just heard the little BMW M4 just cruising down the pit lane as quiet as it possibly could be.
Okay, Fletcher's been in, Dudley's been in. Fletcher's down into 5th. He's pitted before Thurtle. Thurtle, of course, currently on the top part of the circuit, coming around turn 9 and 10. He is coming up behind Stuart Gibbons and, believe it or not, Adam Watson. So Adam Watson must have a bit, have had a more of an issue than we're giving him credit for there. He went back in and out of the pits twice. So maybe he got a speeding penalty in the pits there. We'll see when Thurtle comes in. He is coming round to roughly where the pit lane entry is. He does dive in. Is Tim Perry going to dive in as well? Perry goes round once more. What about Jet Werrell as he's wiggling his way through the chicane of 11 and 12 before he comes down into 13? Is he going to be diving in? He's not going to be this time around. Alec McCain, we'll see if McCain dives in as well. But Stuart Rice, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes all fighting it out here for this Triple P racing team. And Barnes is the only one that's pitted so far out the free.
Don't hit your teammate. Oh my word, especially when you're a pit stop behind them. Stuart Rice was playing with fire then, and if that ended in disaster, I would love to be a fly on the wall in the debrief room at the Triple P team. But yeah, keeping it nicely within the limits. Of course, Barnes is in a different race compared to these two and doesn't really want to spend too much time twiddling his thumbs around his teammates. Would like to get through, get some clear air and get some clean laps under his belt. But we have got less than half of the race left to go, just closing in on to less than 17 minutes to go in this race. Stuart Rice still staying out in
just missed the pit lane. I've got a funny
feeling. Did he try and...
I think he went to weave in and missed the pit lane. I've got a funny feeling that's what's happened. Barnes is giving Williams a flash. Now, the interesting thing about this team is Barnes is the lead, like the team owner, boss man, should we say. So from Williams' point of view, he's either got to make a choice, let the boss through or hold him up. And at the moment, he's choosing the latter option here as well for Williams. So whether or not Williams will be looking for a new team in the morning, I don't really know, but he is currently holding up the boss man here. So yeah, love to try and get involved in that chat.
Maybe you can go and find a team that incorporates BMW, I don't know.
He's gonna do, I tell you what, you don't want to be giving him grief, young sir. I'm not gonna lie, because
it's so worth it though.
If you wake up to a DM early morning tomorrow because he gets up early for work, you are gonna be in
trouble.
In trouble. But as I say, that's for you now. You've made your bed, as my mum always says, so you go and lie in it, dear sir. As Williams does give Barnes room to sweep round the outside of turn 8 and then into 9. He's also going to try and battle Rice once more. This Triple P team's battling it out here, so great job from all of these guys keeping it nice and clear. Good little photo opportunity for Mr. Hedgecock when he comes around to doing the photos of the final race of the season. I'm sure he will get a look at getting the Triple Ps all in at the same time, but we are waiting for pit stops from Williams, from also Rice. Werrell's now in and on his way out. Where is Crowther? Crowther's just coming out the pit lane. Werrell's got to go round the outside. Is Crowther going to try and nip in? Werrell's going to go. Well, you couldn't have timed that any better there for Jack Werrell, could you really?
Nicely done. Oh, spinner. Oh no.
Ryan Dudley has gone round.
From the AM lead as well, weren't it?
Yep.
Oh, how has he bottled this then? Too much speed in. The slip angle is not there. The rear end is not there either. The weight transfer, he just carried way too much speed in, and unfortunately it's cost him the AM lead. And now he's got a lot of climbing back up to do if he wants to take the win in this one. And what it does mean is that, of course, Jack Werrell has just taken the lead in the AMs, and Derek Crowther has now got a lot of work if he wants to win this. But I suppose it does raise the stakes in that battle. It's not now for second, it's now for the lead.
Yeah, Arthur Ferrell's just gone past Alan McCain now. I don't think there was too much of a hold-up. I believe Alan probably jumped out the way. Fletcher's a little bit further back from that one. So Fletcher at the moment to Arthur Ferrell. As we look at the gainers in the feature, you can see Watson's down 14, Gibbons down 11, Rice down 6. And then you got Williams up 8 with Needham up 3, McCain up 7, Petty up 7 as well. But that gap from Arthur Ferrell to Mark Fletcher is nearly 32 seconds here as well, as I believe Ferrell is just going to sweep past Tim Perry. There's Perry on the right-hand side just coming out the pits, and Perry does basically keep that position. I don't know, the gap's all changed now. It's now 3 seconds. I'm sure that said 30.
Maybe you're seeing things. I didn't see 30.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know, maybe my arms. Duds there says Dudley is the best here right before he went and spun. So we're blaming that one on you.
There was one before that as well, saying go Dudley or something, I think.
Yeah. And Zach, watch out for horse heads in your pillow tonight, says Phil.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Cheers.
To be honest, Williams is up in Newcastle. I definitely can guarantee he's not going to travel down to the depths of Margate to go and try and stick a horse's head on the pillow of
it's not worth coming to where I live anyway.
It's a long way down, you know what I mean, just to try and do that. So, you know, I don't think, to be honest, Williams is really going to care. But there you go. Just obviously, you know, I'd probably not make any more cracks about the card.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Yes, but for you,
and I enjoy it.
Okay, so next time you're on track, when do you ever race?
No, I sold my sim. Unfortunately, because my insurance is extortionate.
Well, yes, this is also true, but you are only a wee whippersnapper. So
I am only a wee whippersnapper. That is,
yeah, so this
a
is
very good way of putting it.
Yeah, so that's understandable. as well. Williams has still not gone around in that BMW. How is he managing to survive about 30, what's he got, about 30 minutes, 33 minutes here without actually pitting? From Williams's point of view, I think if he's been fuel saving, he's done a stellar job at the moment and is basically made it to about 10 laps to go. So there we go. Alan McCain also made it till about 11 minutes to go as well. He's just gone in, so I am expecting Williams in this time.
Yeah, I'd say that, you know, you can't go on forever as much as you'd like to. Yeah, he's going to have to come in at some point. That fuel tank is going to deplete, and he stays to the left-hand side. He brings it into the pit lane after a very, very valiant nearly 35-minute stint, just shy of 34. He brings it into the pit lane, and it will be a sprint to the finish, of course, for Robert Williams and for Alan McCain as well. Both have done a phenomenal job. Back up to this fight, Mark Fletcher got himself ahead of Tim Perry, but straight away back onto the counter-attack. Tim Perry really wants that second place.
Yeah, he's giving Fletcher a whole load of grief as they come round now on from turn 6. Fletcher opens up the steering, takes the nose off Perry there as well, and that's one of the things that I don't believe I've seen enough drivers do over the years I've been obviously commentating, and I say years because it is plural, but it ain't like 10 or 15. But I think from a driver's point of view, sometimes they're too afraid to open up the steering. They've all got this kind of gentlemanly agreement and respect for each other, which I fully love. And I fully adhere that you should have it, and I understand that. But there are times when you need to do what Fletch just did there to hang on to that position. Open the steering up, come across the nose of Perry and give him something to think about. And sometimes it just ain't enough of that. Enough drivers do that.
Yeah, again, you've got to have... it's always a tightrope that you have to walk. It's always a compromise. There's always extremes. You know, you don't want to be too aggressive where you get to the apex first and then say, whoever's on my outside, you do not exist whatsoever. It is my corner, and if you stay there, we're going to crash. That's the side that, I mean, you see a lot in F1 esports, especially recently, where drivers literally just get to the apex first and then just disregard entirely who's on their outside. And then obviously you've got the flip side of drivers that go to an apex, slow completely down, and then bring it out of the corner as tight as they possibly can to give so much room on the outside. That is not how you get a position. You need a bit of both. You need to get to the apex, you need to give them a squeeze, still give them room, still be respectful, just in the spirit of racing, not only because the rules say you have to, but just to be a nice guy. But yeah, when the job needs to get done, you do need to get your hands dirty a little bit. Obviously, all within the confines of the rules, and I think that's exactly what Mark Fletcher did. It was aggressive, sure, but all he did was force Perry's hand. However, another change of positions. Once again, Mark Fletcher going defensive. Once again, just opening the steering, taking the track, and Tim Perry doesn't really have an answer for it at this point in time.
Yeah, Perry did get past Fletch for a brief moment before Fletch come back up the inside of 6. Werrell and Cravo were battling out. They were a lot closer than they were at the moment. Werrell is currently 7/10 out in front of Cravo, so they were at one point a lot closer. Stefan Mellis seems to be having a nice little tidy battle with Stuart Rice further down the order as well. While Williams did go into the pits, and he has actually come out behind Stuart Rice. So that's unfortunate for Robert Williams there as well. He's going to surely want to try and get back in that position with 8 minutes on the clock here as well, ready to go. 1:49.21 for Fertel, 1:49.74, 1:49.62 for Fletch and Perry respectively. So, you know, these guys are still battling it out here, Zach, and I think that's the thing. Even though obviously the likes of Perry, the likes of Adam Watson did join in quite late into the season, they've still put up a great fight. And then, you know, you could have come into the last round when people aren't battling for a championship and end up with 10 cars. You know, we've got obviously 2019 still out on track. We've lost Ryan Dudley and Callum Mileham. Mileham didn't actually start at all. But it's still showing that these drivers are competitive right the way to the end of the final race.
Oh yeah, because they're racing drivers, and that's exactly what we want to see, is drivers coming out here, doing their best, putting on a show, and just having fun, having a good time. I think that's, you know, the sole purpose really of JPB leagues, is that community aspect, having fun, that great atmosphere that we love to see in sim racing. Outside line for Tim Perry, of course, one of the newer additions, trying to get past Mark Fletcher, who is a little bit tight on his line, but is able to slow it down enough. A good up and under potential here from Tim Perry. Not quite a long enough straight after that corner for him to see himself pass. But yeah, that community aspect, that atmosphere, having a laugh, enjoying yourself, going out there and doing it because you're passionate about it, doing it because you've got a reliable grid of people who are going to go out there, push you to your limits, and have some fun racing with you. You know, go side by side. And yes, obviously accidents happen and things, but for the most part, it's been hard, fair, enjoyable racing. And I've only been here for the last hour and a bit since I stepped into the commentary booth, and already I've sort of built that picture of what this championship is and how well these drivers are at doing it, because you've got fast drivers, you've got maybe slightly slower drivers, more inexperienced drivers, Callum Mileham, who maybe want to just do a little bit better and get more experience in league racing. And then obviously there's the other people that want to win championships, and there's always a home for someone when it comes to these leagues, and everyone out there is having as much fun as they can.
Ouch, Zach Sweeney definitely got the daggers out. He's got his cat fingers out tonight with his nails, and he's scratching away at Rob Williams. He's just dug at Callum Mileham. I'll tell you what, Zach, you want to be a little bit careful here, because...
Nah, Callum Mileham was fine. We did Townsend together. We're basically best friends. We're both from Norfolk, right? It's fine. We've got to stick together. We're basically brothers. We probably are, right? So, we got to stick together.
The breeding is strong in Norfolk. Fletcher Perry still going at it down to turn 6 here. Perry's got the inside line this time around. Is he going to be able to hang it round and do what Fletcher's done to him over the last few laps? Open up the steering. He's done that tighter line that we were talking about. Fletcher's going to come back through as well. Perry's definitely having a go with Fletch, but he just can't seem to do what Fletcher's done and close him off beforehand. And he seems to be just sitting in behind him at the moment.
Yeah, not quite able to find a way past, unfortunately, but the gap does open up once again. Does he get given the space? He sends the move. Tim Perry, a bit too aggressive, nearly chops the nose off the McLaren, but he's able to consolidate that position, take the apex away, take the track away. Mark Fletcher did have a bit of a look at the up and under, but no way through. Great move from Tim Perry, and exactly what he needed to do to reclaim second.
Yeah, 4 minutes on the clock now. Bertels coming round the final corner of the racetrack here at turn 13 before we go into... We've got about another 3 laps. Fletcher's trying to go around the outside now of Perry as these guys are battling it out. Well, there is another battle with Needham and McCain further down. We're just going to keep an eye on that. Fletcher's running on the grass. He's trying to come back the other way. Perry went on the defensive, hugging that white line, did Tim Perry. He didn't let him through. Fletch now trying to go round. Is he going to try that cutback out of 1? Is he going to get the inside for 2? He's got to make a dive if he's going to be able to. Perry comes over, covers him off, hits onto the brakes, gets the slow exit out. That's going to allow Fletch to come back up behind him as well. Is Fletch going to be able to get him on that run down from 5 to 6 here? He's not on this occasion get it from 4 to 5, but 5 to 6 has definitely got to be his best bet.
Yeah, probably so. Get a good exit and run the car as close as you possibly can, then pull out late and go for the move. Of course, it's a long run, quite downhill as well, so Mark Fletcher's got plenty of opportunity to try and close the gap. That McLaren does look quite strong on terms of the brakes, but I don't think he's quite close enough on this particular occasion into turn number 6. So unfortunately going to have to sit idle, but still a couple of opportunities left to go in this race. It's not his last one, but with only just over 3 minutes left to go, he does need to pick up the pace a little bit and go for that do or die move.
Yeah, there's going to be one more. Crowther, Werrell and Petty. Still the same 3 here for 4th, 5th and 6th. This is obviously for the AM Championship. We have not got Ryan Dudley here either anymore. Dudley has unfortunately called it a day and is out of the race. And now it's down to Crowther. Now it's down to Werrell. Where is Petty going to go as well? Is Petty going to kind of want to get himself involved? Is he going to be able to get involved if he really wants to, or is he just going to sit there and let these guys fight? It is so tough when you're behind a battle there, Zach. What's going to be the best thing? You don't want to put yourself in the position to try and take the position away, but you also don't want to get held up by these guys, especially with the fact that obviously, you know, the likes of Needham are behind a McCain. Don't get me wrong, they're like 14 seconds. So I guess from Petty's point of view, he's not really being held up, but does he really want to get involved in an AM fight?
I mean, it gets to a point as a driver, if you are that much quicker, it's dangerous to stay behind. Because as a driver, you want to get the most out of your car. You don't want to lift off too much. And if you stay as close as possible to the cars in front, chances are at some point you or them will make a mistake. As up the hill into turn number 1, looking to the outside goes the BMW, and of course Gavin Petty maybe trying to get the up and under. But if I was him, he's quicker. He's clearly quicker. He's just not really seen much of an opportunity. I suppose he doesn't want to get involved and separate Crowther and Werrell and disrupt this battle. But it will get to a point where, you know, maybe he runs into the back of Crowther because he's that much quicker. Maybe Crowther breaks a little bit earlier than Petty was expecting. And honestly, I would, for him, rather just get in front and run away with it and let these two decide it for themselves, or make a mistake and lose loads of time anyway.
Yeah, Petty did make the mistake there as well, unfortunately for him, going around turn 5. And for Petty now, it's just all about trying to recover some of that position. Haddington and Evans are still battling it out further down here. This is for the final podium position in the AMS with Jason Haddington and Chris Evans. Rice is down here with Mellis and Gibbons. Williams is a little bit basically further back from that as well. So it's going to be an interesting one to see what happens further down. We've still got Fertel out in front. Now, Fertel has dominated, but one man who is not going to be dominating anymore is this man, Adam Watson. He has put the car off the track and has basically jumped to the pits here as well. He's just pulled over, called it a night, and Adam Watson jumped to the pits. Jason Haddington, Evans still fighting it out. Tim Perry's in the pits again here. And I'm wondering if that's because he may have had a drive-through. He has had a drive-through, and Tim Perry does end up. Is he going to be coming out in third as Werrell, Crowther and Petty come through for the final lap of the race here?
Yeah, not long left to go at all. Big shame for Tim Perry. Of course, he was driving so well, but rules are rules. If you've taken too many X's and you get yourself a drive-through penalty, that's just how it goes, unfortunately. Keep it within the confines of the track and you shouldn't have a problem. Continuing this fight, of course, we've got Stuart Gibbons versus Stuart Rice versus Stefan Mayes as well. The three-way fight here for what is 14th place. And, well, now we'll see who of these is going to come out on top. But, yeah, big shame, unfortunately, for Tim Perry. But that fight for the AM lead is going to rage on. Not much in it, considering, you know, their AMs and they're nearly onto the overall podium, which is obviously great news for them. And if Ryan Dudley selected tyres in his pit stop, he definitely potentially could have had a chance at an overall podium.
Yeah, I just know that it's not something that he would have accepted, that he'd made a mistake there. And unfortunately, I don't think Dudley would have just been like, yeah, that's fine. No, I can get from knowing Dudley, probably would have been raging, and unfortunately probably did rage quit as well. Arthur Fertel is going to come round here for the final race of the season. 20 races in, Fertel takes the win, but your overall AM champion is going to be Fletcher. Fletcher will win the pros. He will win the pros, and that is it. Tim Perry, even with 2 pit stops, he does manage to come through and finish the race off in third. 2 pit stops and a drive-through, sorry. So a great job from Tim Perry. But here it is. Jack Werrell is going to come over the line. He is going to take the AM Championship as well, with Derek Crowther in second. And then you've got Gavin Petty, Chris Needham behind that, with Alan McCain as well, as these all guys all come across this start-finish line now as well. And what a last race that has been. It's been absolutely incredible from everyone here as well. And much love to all of these drivers for making it what the season is. Gibbons and Mellis still going at it as they're coming around turn 8 before they go into 9 and 10 with Rice as well. Rice did lose the position to Gibbons. Oh, I thought he was going to have another go at him.
Yeah, he looked to go for it. Not quite close enough, unfortunately, but it's been a fantastic fight between these guys, and just goes to show that the fights aren't always at the front. You can have fun no matter where you are in terms of pace on the field, and you've always got someone that will match up to you, and you've always got a little bit of a rivalry to spark, and as it stands, that's between Mellis, Gibbons, and of course Rice. But into the final corner, and I think it's going to be the Leeds McLaren of the pack that's going to get it.
Yeah, I think Stefan Mellis here. Gibbons is going to try that cutback. They're going to be running down to the line here. Gibbons has jumped Mellis. Mellis slots in behind him, but Gibbons snatches it at the end as well over Stefan Mellis with Stuart Rice. Wonderful fight between them guys and a great little battle from all of them there as well, even right the way down to the very end of the race. The final lap, the final corner, the guys still going at it here as well. And let's bring you up the final race results of the season. 20 races have all been done and dusted. And here are the results. Mark Arthur is your winner for the final race. Mark Fletcher in second, Tim Perry third. Winner of the AMS Championship, Jack Werrell takes the victory in the pros with Crowther there as well. Gavin Petty, Chris Needham, Alan McCain and Adam Hedgecock. Jason Hannington takes a podium in the AMS. Great job from him. With Chris Evans, Torno Ornamets and Stuart Gibbons, Stefan Mellis, Stuart Rice, Chris Barnes and Rob Williams further down the order. And then behind that, we've got the likes of Adam Watson, Ryan Dudley and Callum Mileham. We have got interviews already waiting and here as well. And we can start off with your AM champion, Mr. Jack Werrell. Welcome in, Jack. How are you?
Relax now. Yeah, thanks, mate. Cooling down. That was a good night. I approached the night 100% thinking I'm just going to enter, rock around, earn some points. That was the plan. Race one was race one. A couple of incidents managed to avoid and bag a second, set us up quite well for race two, and I knew Deck was there the entire race, keeping me honest, as he has done all season. Honestly, thanks to Deck for such a brilliant season alone, just him, let alone everybody else. And then I'm not sure what happened to Dudley. I know he spun, and I think he kept tyres on during the pit stop, which dropped him back. And yeah, I thought, I just want points. Do I just, if Deck shows his nose, he's having it. I'm not going to fight it. And it never happened. I think the Aston's just slightly quicker off the corners, which gave me the breathing room. But yeah, what a season. That has been brilliant. And what a way to bounce back as well. I was over the moon, but sort of kicking myself with being the vice champion in the Clios last season in the AMS. And then, yeah, it's so nice to finally take home the AM Championship in the GT4s.
Yeah, definitely on that one. And it has been a good season for you overall as well, Jack, hasn't it? For it to come down to this final thing, this final flurry of races. You know, you've done a great job, Mr. Consistent all year, all year, like it's a year, all season as well, you know, for the whole 10 weeks here. And it's got to feel good that you've wrapped it up, isn't it? You can now just go and enjoy the champagne. Yeah,
I mean, celebrations will be starting rather swiftly with maybe some alcoholic beverages. I don't know. I've got work tomorrow, but you know,
good night. Don't worry.
What we live for. But yeah, it's just nice to have that. I think it'll be weird going into work on a Wednesday and not thinking, oh God, we're racing again tonight. It'll be nice. Not that I was taking it seriously or anything.
Yes, you was.
But yeah, it's turned itself around throughout the season. It was a bit of a rocky start, first race of the season, finding myself 30 foot in the air after colliding with Barnesy. But yeah, throughout we managed to do the double nice and early, getting a win in the sprint and the feature at Imola, and then feature races, they were my forte. That was where it was bagging the points, bagging the wins, and more importantly all season, I think it's those podiums that kept me there. But yeah, I take my hat off to you lot for keeping up with everything that was going on track throughout the season. Of course, the series sponsors as well, and everybody that was out there, mainly Deck. He kept me honest all season. So did Chris Barnes as well. I had a couple of great battles with Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jack, you've just answered, is there anyone you want to shout out there? So I don't need to ask that question. But thank you so much. We did make an announcement for season 2 at the beginning of the broadcast. The sign-ups will open up tomorrow, Mr. Werrell, if you want. You are getting promoted into the pros as well. So don't back out on me now. You've got to come in and give it a go. You've been up there near enough all season, really.
Yeah, I think 5th overall at the moment in the championship. I'm not sure what happened after tonight, but I think it's 5th still. So yeah, we'll see. I was thinking back to how I entered the series at the start of the season. I was working away at Magny-Cours, and I sent you a photo in the Discord watching GT4s at Magny-Cours, and I thought, is there any room? You sent me the link, and that's how it all started. So yeah, it'll be nice to carry on. It'll be nice to carry on for sure.
All right, man. Well, you take care, Jack. Thank you so much for putting on a show for us this season. It's been absolutely amazing. Congratulations on your championship. And you never know, we might see you next season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Cheers, boys.
Take care, mate.
Bye-bye.
Right, and now we're going to have a conversation with Deck Crowther, the man who did finish runner-up in the championship here as well. Deck, welcome in. How are you, dear sir?
I'm not too bad, thanks, James. Yourself?
Oh, mate, I'm good. I'm always good. You know me. I've just watched some epic racing. Stellar season from you. Second place overall. You know, are you happy?
Yeah, I didn't think I could beat Jack coming into, but I give it a go. I tried a couple of times to get past him on that second race, but just didn't happen. He kept his cool. Good on him. Well done, Jack.
Well, he did shout you out as well and said, you know, thank you so much for keeping him honest as well here. Deck, we did make an announcement for season 2 at the beginning of the broadcast. So, you know, the fact that you may go up to pros next year, we'll sort it out as well. See how you get on. Highlights of the season for you, Deck? Any great moments that you can remember?
Hockenheim, I did well though. I enjoyed that race. I seem to have the bit extra over Barnesy and Jack on Hockenheim, so I did enjoy that one, to be fair.
Yeah, and it has been an epic season for you guys as well at Blade Designs. I'm not sure where that puts you within the teams. We've got to wait for that to update at the moment as well.
I know we did go into the race in the front.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we'll finish.
You went 21 points in front, so you might be all right. You might have just hung on there, Deck, but thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go here this evening?
Same with Jack. Good racing. Enjoyed it all season. So shout out to Jack. Hopefully next season, if he's in there and we're both in pros, my aim will just be to finish above him.
Yeah, definitely. Deck as well.
And a shout out to yourself, James, again for the broadcast that you do.
Thank you so much, Deck, as well. Look forward to seeing you and next season on track, maybe in the Clios and the GT4s. You never know. We'll see Deck Crowther twice.
Will be in them both. Yeah.
Oh, okay, mate. Awesome stuff. Well, look, Deck, thank you so much there for joining us, buddy, and we look forward to seeing you next season.
See you later, pal.
Take care, mate. Right, and next up in the booth, we'll start off with the runner-up in the pros, Mr. Arthur Ferdle. Gave it his all. He gave it an opportunity. He had a try. He had a go. Few mistakes with pit stops over the season. Got it sorted out for the second half of the season. Just couldn't quite close the gap there as well. Arthur Ferdle, welcome in. How are you, sir?
I'm a hot, sweaty mess.
You and me both, mate.
Nice.
Mine's just purely for a different...
People start rumours.
Yeah, ooh. Don't even go there, dear sir, because you know that will probably happen as well. Somebody will start something somewhere. No,
I will.
Yeah, we know. It's been a great drive from you, Arthur, as well, over the season there, bud. You've done a stellar job. Are you happy with your second?
Yes, yeah. I'm really proud of how I drove. Actually, I wasn't very happy with the Clio when I done the Clios. I don't know what was wrong with me for that Clio league because it wasn't just in the Clios. It was all my racing. I was making lots of mistakes, and I don't know why. I then done the Big Dreams Little Voices race, and I got my mojo back. And yeah, this season I'm really happy with how I've driven. I haven't made any big errors. The only time I've gone round was last week, and that was assisted.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think I'm really happy. I've been consistent. I think I might have got the most pole positions as well. I haven't looked back at the season, but I know Adam got a couple, and obviously Fletcher did as well. But I think I might have got the most in the end.
Ooh, I'll let you know on that one.
You know the team scores yet?
No, dude, I'm still waiting for the updates to come through on that one. They do take
suspense.
I know you might even have to wait for about another half hour, 45 minutes, because they do take a minute to come through before I announce it all a little bit later. So you can keep refreshing the team scores if you want, Arthur, and seeing how you're getting on. But look, dude, it's been an epic season for you here as well. Season 2 did get announced at the beginning of the broadcast. Hopefully, we might see you again next season. If we do see you on track, what's the plans? Is it now improving? Because second place in Clios, second place in GT4s, you're in the TCRs as well. Are you going to be going for a 3 out of 3 next season?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm a bit of an all-rounder, but not a winner in anything.
Well, second place ain't bad, mate. You know what I mean?
No, I'm really happy with second. I'm proud of how I drove to come up against a driver like of Mark Fletcher's caliber and push him all the way. And I think for the last few rounds, I've had the edge. So I'm proud of that. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. The TCRs I don't expect to even get a podium, but that's just TCRs for me.
All right, mate. Well, thank you so much for joining us there, Arthur. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I'd like to shout out everyone in SRL for supporting, everyone else that's not in SRL that watches and has been supporting me. Mark and the Altitude boys, because they made it such an interesting season. It's worked out so well that you had me and Mark on almost equal pace and Adam and Alan on almost equal pace. It's made the team so close. Me and Mark did a bit of quick maths, and we think there might only be 1 point in it in the end, but we're not sure because of the drop rounds.
All right, mate. Well, let's see, and I'll announce it when they do see them, and hopefully they'll come through within the next half an hour or so. But Arthur, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure chatting to you, as it always is, sir. I'll see you on Friday for the TCRs.
Yeah, see you on Friday.
All right, mate. You take care.
You too.
Right, and now the final interview of the evening. The pro champion, Mark Fletcher, is in the booth. Stellar job there as well. Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Congratulations on your win there, bud.
Thank you, mate. Another good evenings racing. We didn't overly have it our own way, which obviously it's not what I wanted coming in, but yeah, fantastic job again from Arthur this evening. In the last sort of 3 rounds, that kid's been untouchable.
Yeah, he definitely has there as well. I do want to ask you about the incident with Adam Watson. What was your take on that?
I was up the inside, he turned in, he's always at fault. Generally, I was there, he turned in, get out.
What's you?
I was close enough. I was on the same circuit. We were going for the same corner.
You know how you know how I feel about the fact that you have to be a little bit. And the moment he started turning in, you weren't there, Mr. Fletcher.
No, but I was by the time that he'd finished turning in.
yeah, but that ain't going to help him in that moment because he's got nowhere to go, has he?
Yeah, that wasn't a me problem at that stage.
Oh, God, blimey. I think, you Altitude boys need to have a discussion here as well because
exactly.
I strongly disagree, but there we go. Look, Mark, you've done a stellar job this season as well. You've taken the championship. Season 2's been announced at the beginning of the broadcast. Some great tracks on there as well. Are you looking to come back and defend your championship next season?
I'm going to certainly give it a go. I'll come with my chat's going, there's beef everywhere at Altitude.
Yeah, I can imagine that as well.
But yeah, it's been a great series. It's been absolutely class, and fair play to Arthur and Alan for keeping me and Hedge company all season, and then obviously Tim and Adam coming through halfway through the season. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you are listening to Mark Fletcher's chat and you can't hear me, the sign-ups will open up tomorrow. So head over to JPBroadcasting.com, get yourself involved in the Clio's, GT4s and TCRs. Thank you, Mark, for the free advert.
You're welcome, mate. Anytime.
Anyone you want to shout out, Mark, before we let you go?
I'd like to thank Adam for not turning in.
Yeah, Adam for still being there when you tried to send it. Yeah, next one.
Yeah. Obviously, all of our guys at Altitude. Hedge being a fantastic teammate. We've come up with a percentage that Loinsy helped me win the championship by 78%. So yeah, thank you to Mr. Loins for being absolutely stellar on the pit stop, smashed it all year. And then just our sponsors, mate. Mr. Hedge does all our photography, Freem, Sim Stickers, Sim Racing Studio, Grumpy Dad Designs, and obviously you guys for putting it on. It's class to watch back, and we love reporting on it every week.
Awesome stuff. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us there, bud, and look forward to catching up with you again, I'm sure, shortly as well. It's been a pleasure. But Mark Fletcher, congratulations one more time on your Pro Championship.
Cheers, James. Good night.
Take care. Well, there you go, guys. And that has brought us to the end of the season. The final round here of the JPB GT4 Championship has been done and dusted. Don't forget, next season, you can get yourself involved. Head over to jpbbroadcasting.com tomorrow. Go on to League Racing. Find out GT4s. The session they will be open tomorrow morning. You're going to go to Alton Park, Nürburgring, Phillip Island, Road Atlanta, Zandvoort, Brands Hatch, Magny-Cours, Suzuka, Road America and Sebring. The Clios will also be announced later on as well. I've had the update through from that one. But for now, guys, final words from you, Zach. Thank you so much for filling in so late.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed myself. It's been a great evening of racing action, and it seems that everyone's really happy and looking forward to coming back for more. So, yeah, bring on the next season of JPB GT4s.
Yeah, absolutely. But for now, guys, thank you to so many people who have joined us in YouTube chat here this evening as well. I've not managed to keep up from all of you, but Jamie Dangle, Phil, Callum, Kieran there for jumping in, Mark Chappell, VJ as well, Piercy, obviously Pete Newman for coming in. Thank you so much as well. And if anybody else I've missed, my deepest apologies there as well. But for now, guys, from myself and Zach Sweeney up here in the JPB booth, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track next season. Good night.